Hello and welcome back to the final game of the day. CLG and Golden Guardians facing off for the last time. Someone is getting a long break until 2023. Someone's moving on to next week to fight for their lives again. A chance at the LCS Championship, a shot at the World Championship. All the above, but they got to win Game 5 right here.
Absolutely. And CLG now, pressure is on, but working in their favor is the fact that Blue Side has won every single game in this series, and CLG is on blue. So Golden Guardian's gonna have to pull out something a little bit special. I'm really interested to see, like, are there gonna be more adjustments in pick ban, right?
Yeah.
Jarvan has been a pretty big problem, especially when they're actually going towards Sivir so heavily.
There it is.
So Jarvan gonna get banned out. This does indicate to me that they still want to maintain the Sivir priority, that they care more about Sivir than they do about the Zeri. Otherwise, you pick Zeri, you just dash over the wall. Excuse me, who cares?
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where they are mixing things up a bit. Poppy being banned because, okay, this is
Yuumi is the other one.
Yeah.
Yuumi is the other champ that's been left up here. Yuumi has been perma-banned this. Okay, here it is. It's perma-banned. It's still gone.
Did they first pick Lulu?
Wow.
Enchanters are, yeah, there you go. Enchanters are so popular now, and like, just the development throughout this series, this makes a lot of sense to me. Golden Guardians has shown we want to play Zeri, with or without it, right? And Luger knows, I want to play Sivir. And so then, if you're going to make that trade every time anyway, first picking Sivir is irrelevant, so you just actually first pick the support, which is more contested. Because Olleh wants the Enchanter too. They are going to mix it up here though, very interesting for Game 5. Going to be swapping over to the Sivir, and pre-picking the Nautilus, saying, I know you're locking Zeri. Lock it in. I already have the support counter pick ready for you. And they are, in fact, very likely correct. So it is in fact, a little bit of a mix-up here from Golden Guardians, so we'll see if it actually does pay off. Luger have been going to the Sivir every single game. I do love the Trundle here. I mean, as far as just like strength of comp, I kind of like the first three from CLG a lot.
It's very good. You're going to have outstanding default team fighting. So after shot, great, give me those. You're playing top lane tank, give me those. Trundle will front line okay. Obviously, an AD carry will still always outscale that, but if you're ahead, you're not dying anytime soon. Ulti can buffer that for a while. Lulu can help with that one. Obviously, Zeri is likely untouched. Yes, there's Nautilus, but we've seen how well Zeri can get away from that.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, because tank tops have been such high priority, my priority on Trundle really rises, right? You know, if people are going to be picking Ornn and Sejuani and Poppy Top and like all this kind of stuff, then it's really, really nice to actually have a Trundle in there. Kind of turns Trundle into a super tank and really does help to shred through those frontliners. And Zeri kind of needs that, right? Zeri kind of needs that additional little bit of help to be able to punch through a lot of those tanks in the front line. Banning out a pretty expected jungle pick here in the Vi.
Yeah.
If they're worried about more engage on a Zeri, I think Wukong would make sense as another ban here. To be able to actually take that away potentially from River. But Palafox's LeBlanc will get targeted as one of the answers.
Unanswered jungle, unanswered mid. So far, those are the bans so far. And indeed, keeps that one. 2 mid lane bans. Will we see 2 jungle bans? Is it a top lane look? Is there a...
I think it's Ornn or it's Wukong. We'll have to see. I mean, Ornn has been really high prio, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think they necessarily want to give that over. So I think Ornn is totally defensible. If you want to push River down, I think it should be Wukong to try to, you know, take away another one of those kind of hard engage picks.
Yep.
So everything makes a lot of sense for me so far, but then I think you just go Ornn here as Golden Guardians.
Fully.
And you're kind of just fully locking in your late game scaling.
If you want early control, I mean, his Volibear
Yeah.
looked solid last time.
If you go
comp this time around, of course.
If you go volley, though, you have to think that Dhokla's just going to take Ornn, and then what's your counter to Ornn, right? Like, does Licorice really want to flip the game on Fiora? I don't know. And maybe he is willing to play that aggressive pick, right? If you're willing to play the aggressive pick, you should for sure counter pick on 5. But it just had felt like the way the series was going, it was just tank top priority.
Sure.
Not going to be the case just yet here, though.
Yeah, the option was Renekton.
Yeah.
Renekton, both teams had gone for early Renekton, or at least, you know, blind picking, taking it as a valuable option, and saying, no, we really want lane priority. It had beaten the Aatrox of Dhokla. It is locked in here.
Okay.
And ooh, is it going to be steady team fight? Now, they do not, once again, they do not have good team fight engage.
Yeah.
Zeri's not starting fights. Trundle, pretty bad at it. Renekton's not going to. No LeBlanc, no Salus to be a difference maker in the sides. He can't steal a Nautilus ult or anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's Cassio. I think you just get outranged by the Azir, so I don't think that's going to be the answer.
Olleh is left up finally.
He's going the aggressive option here. And we saw CLG play Akali Yone against C9. Yone has been permaban throughout this series, people not really willing to go up against it. Yone was kind of the answer that we saw him bring out against C9 into the Azir, being able to really kind of go aggressive every time you have the E available, dashing in there.
Aw, not on the people, doesn't get picked up, that's okay. Ornn is in, you talked about it the entire draft here, Azael. It is through. Golden Guardians have an obvious backline, obvious team fight engage, and River somewhere in the middle as a damage threat, a pick-off champion artist. The eyes for me, though, are all focused on this Akali in the mid lane for Palafox. CLG do not have team fight engage. They do not get to determine when and where the 5-on-5 starts, with unless it's a Baron bait, and even then, good luck with that one. It is about Akali being a 1v1 expert, being a backline dive expert in the side lane.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is going to be about vision control being first the objective for CLG. If you force Golden Guardians to walk into you and Akali and Renekton are on opposite sides, you know, being able to have that pincer move, it can become really, really difficult for Golden Guardians. Front to back, though, feels monstrously in the favor of Golden Guardians here. So it is going to be an interesting one. Definitely a risky pick here. Akali in game number 5. Locking it in for Palafox, and we'll have to see what they can get done. Also, can you put enough pressure on this Ornn to really make the Renekton valuable, right? You know, are you going to be able to threaten turret dives, which feels like that has been the answer to a lot of these tank matchups, is that they are getting up there early on as the jungler, trying to put that tank behind, force an early TP, so that you can have this aggressive bruiser in the Renekton, who's really kind of out-trading and getting at Prio up on top side, because if you don't have Prio and you don't take Heralds early with Renekton, it is not very valuable.
Now we are into the rift here for game 5, and today we bid farewell to one of these teams, CLG. So good in regular season, 4th seed, but they dropped to Cloud9 in 5. They're now facing Golden Guardians in 5 here as well. Golden Guardians themselves struggled mightily in the summer split, but have now brought themselves up to a game 5, a climactic battle against CLG, and now to get a final word from their head coach, LeTigress is catching up with Inero from Golden Guardians. See what he has to say.
That's right, Golden Guardians pushing this series the distance. So much veterancy on this team in terms of playoff experience and series. How do you feel that factored in here in a best of 5?
I mean, Stixxay's been popping off. Like, he's kind of been running the games. Ablazeolive had a good one last time too. It definitely helps. Like, they're not stressed about the fact that one game can just mean their career is like over or their game is over. So like, they're just fucking down, ready to go. Feels good.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that Stixxay point. What did you do to get him so jacked for this day?
I mean, like, it's been there the whole time. It's just been like getting it out, getting to actually perform and push that. So I don't know. We've just been trying to keep vibes good despite our record and everything. And like, he's running with it. He's doing really well.
Keeping the vibes good, going into this team fight oriented comp. Let's see how it all goes down in game number 5.
Thank you very much, LeTigress. We'll see what the future holds for whichever team drops. We know whoever wins. Future is a battle next week.
Yeah. The career being over off one game loss feels a little bit ominous, you know?
I assume he meant series, but it's like the season is over.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's true, right? Like, he's not wrong. You know, sometimes, you know, especially if you are a veteran player and you get replaced on a low-ranking team, you often don't get picked up again, right? So, you know, these can be very, very important matches for your career, right? Being able to actually show that, hey, we can compete with the top teams. Yes, our record was not what we wanted to be this year, but very clearly Golden Guardians are showing that, hey, they've got something more in the tank. And when they are playing at their best, definitely can compete with and potentially even take down CLG here in a best of 5. Has been a very exciting series, and do agree that Stixxay has been a monster. Is playing the Sivir for the first time in this series, though, so it'll be interesting to see how he's able to perform on it, because he does not have the Enchanter in tow.
Going to rely on himself for defenses, but there, again, isn't very much dive from the CLG side. The biggest thing to do, if you can spell shield Akali E, you break both halves of it, and she's not killing you with just Q auto at that point, for the most part. If she's ahead enough, yeah, the ult will do it, but spell shielding Akali E is the thing. You're paying close attention, you know what's coming out, and that is just going to make you win the fight. And if he's safe, then he's hitting people. Because again, if you're not threatening the AD carry is free firing. We know that Zeri and Sivir are putting out pretty similar amounts of damage in these fights, as a scuffle, a kerfuffle, a scrape, a scrap, a battle goes off for the Raptors. And now, mid lane fight here, low on mana, there was Ablazeolive, and Palafox is like, cool, auto me to death, I dare you.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do that, but you do have to be pretty careful here. Palafox just trying to hold the wave as much as he can to deny the shove, but it does look like he's going to get that crash. So we'll be able to get the reset. Very, very scrappy mid lane there And it was kind of just trying to outlast the mana. You know, that's generally how it is when you're playing these energy bar champions is, you know, he has second wind, he has D-shield. You try to just kind of outlast the mana pool more than the health. You're not really going to be able to win these trades that heavily because of that range advantage. In fact, he never even forced the potion out, but Palafox now will be heading back to base. We'll see if Ablazeolive pulls the wave. I think he should pull the wave and force out that TP guaranteed. Dhokla got to be careful here, even though Licorice is low on mana. Anytime that Brittle Proc is ready, there's a lot of damage that can come out.
Really nice trade, though. Empowered Stun is a lot of damage. Grasp does go back at the end to keep Licorice okay. Can chew through biscuits if needed for the health. You can see the green glow means he is regenning some. He's already forged himself a Cloth. I'm going to keep that one looking a bit better. The Doran Shield regen there as well. Down CS as expected. And actually, Palafox able to stay in lane, does not TP, does not even recall.
Yeah,
Fighting for this wave.
It's all because of the pull on the wave, right? So Ablazeolive TP's back early and then pulls the wave to the side, which makes it very, very difficult. Licorice going to be forced back here, very likely. The wave is bad, though, so he wants to actually fix this, and now he's in trouble.
Flash for the slow. Pill's going to be underneath the spot, but there's nothing else he can really do. So flash for flash. The flash means Licorice to burn his, and then he's under the turret. Ooh, the hook's going to land, though. Ignite is on already. Huge damage on a Luger. An extra longsword is there. A flash to jump to the wall, but now Poome is the target. Rooted up for a minute, and they're going to just put the autos in from the Sivir. Has to burn the flash as well to the biggest part of the wall. Glimmering Blade is decent damage, and that is Golden Guardians. Double Summoner's Burn for 4.
Yeah, that is big. They got the really early base off. You can see that the Cull just got grabbed up there by Stixxay, so went back to base. It was CLG getting caught trying to reset the wave, right? So these waves have meant so much in the early stages here. River going to be spotted. Contractz is in the area. CLG won a 2v2, and they do not see Contractz. This could be big. No flash on Licorice.
Licorice a bit low, 200 HP, so going to attack, though. They're going for the Renekton. He's trying to die, but he's alive for now. River does not have his flash. He cannot catch the target. CLG get the better of the 2-on-2. They claim first blood.
That is massive. The wave is screwed for Licorice as well. Oh, jungle needs to hold it. Okay, never mind. It's still fine. So he's going to have to TP back immediately, but he's going to be in danger once more because Dhokla can TP back here, and the wave will be pushing away from him, so you're stuck in that awkward spot, you know, even after the TP back. You don't know for sure that Contractz is out of there because if Contractz was hanging around, you could be in trouble, so that's why he goes in for that little ward in the river.
Happy to take this trade pretty aggressively. Iron Spike Whip, thank you very much. Good shots come across. Licorice already chunked to half HP. Gets his second grasp of the trade to keep it decent, but sustain definitely gonna be better for the Renekton with rank 3 Q.
Yeah, and Renekton is ahead in XP. That's actually really, really important. He hits 6 right now, so now Licorice has to play very scared, at least until he hits 6. And even then, it's pretty tough. You know, he's not playing Spellbook, so he doesn't have Ignite or anything to really threaten, and getting chunked this low with no TP means you're going back to base.
W, Iron Spike, and really good trading out of Dhokla. So playing for top lane priority, picking for top lane priority, and it works so well for the CLG side. Licorice, yeah, control to see. Am I getting tower dove by Contractz? There isn't a jungler here,
But
and he thinks with 400 health, he might survive Dhokla.
I think you die 1v1. With Renekton having ult and full fury, I think it's really, really risky. You have to be able to use the Bellows Breath on the stun and try to get 6 here. He has 6, so now it's tougher, and he's just going to use the ult to clear it out. So I think that's actually really smart.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think you can get solo killed. The Q knocks them most of the wave. Bellows Breath, but here comes the rest of the squad, flashing for the stun. Licorice, he's got to try to find the stop. Tries to get away from Akali. Agro's dropped, and the second ult comes through. Palafox able to get the kill.
That is so frustrating for Licorice there. Gets attacked by Palafox, just barely cannot take him down. And on that bottom side, there's not really any sort of an answer here from Golden Guardians. They will get a plate mid, so that is nice, but Palafox getting active on the map here, as he is really well known for doing, means they get a kill, and they're gonna get a plate here for Dhokla, plus the entire wave, including the cannon, will be denied.
Yep.
And when you're in this kind of like non-stop cycle, it sucks because you're losing the 1v1 and your wave is always bad, right? You come back, you're down 1k gold, and guess where your wave's going? It's going to their side again, where they're going to continue to do the same thing over and over. You're stuck in that non-stop position where you have to reset the wave. We can see the replay. Really smart ult, I think, from Licorice to just try to clear this one out, but just doesn't matter. Dhokla flash in, hits the stun. Palafox comes through. A little bit of anti-timing there, perhaps. He would have been knocked up, I guess, if he waited, so he kind of had to do it, but did get dicey. Just barely able to finish him off, then get the R2 through. That was a really, really narrow margin to be able to get that kill. If you die and don't get the kill, that's a disaster, but because they do, Licorice is again in this awkward spot where he has to try to push up the wave, is going to be able to get the bounce, so that feels nice. As Golden Guardians look like they're going to try to move to a Herald take, but CLG are in the area. There's no ult on Palafox though, so I don't think they can contest.
Might be difficult. Contractz level 6 might look for it here. 2,500 health. Licorice cannot find the engage. Pillar is up, that shouldn't matter too much. Palafox there for a bit of damage. Turns stealth. Mostly fine. Smite comes through. Is indeed claimed. Neither marksman is down to the bottom lane right now. They can both walk back. I will say though, during all that fight, Palafox, yes, he got the kill. That feels good. But Ablazeolive, last I checked, was up in gold. He denied about 2 waves in mid lane, same number of waves that Licorice lost, but also claimed 2 turret plates, which is as much gold as a kill gives you in the first place. So now we get to see more going on there. The scoop's gonna come back, hitting a couple. Isn't enough damage though from Golden Guardian's attack. Comes across and River is able to reset, puts the pillar, gets back out of range, and Palafox has to flash the wall to stay alive. The Trundle pillar better in River's hands as he now goes for the Drake.
Yeah, Golden Guardian's coming on top again, getting able to grab this dragon here. That is massive. And I agree, for the 1v1, it wasn't really a big advantage there, game by Palafox by any means. Ablazeolive quite a bit ahead in gold now, picked up a kill right there. I think largely it was about keeping Dhokla snowballing, right? It's about actually slamming this Ornn into the ground so that the Renekton can have perma-prio in that 1v1, get yourself the heralds and everything, but it didn't work out for them because since Palafox had no ulti, it was just forced on. Golden Guardians just go right up there and do make that play happen. So definitely not getting much out of the Renekton just yes. You'd much rather have the gold advantage on your Azir than you would on the Renekton. As long as Ornn isn't just getting completely stomped, it doesn't really matter. So here it is one more time. They find the initial pick there in onto Contractz, then Ablazeolive scoops Luger in. The ulti comes across there from River, and they are able to finish off Contractz here. He gets burst down by Stixxay and River, just barely gets the reset onto the soul, jumps into the Trundle body, forced out the flash with a good pillar onto Palafox, and then gets the dragon. So things looking really, really good for Golden Guardians. Yes, it is a slight gold lead for CLG, but man, the scaling on the side of Golden Guardians is really insane.
Looks really good there. We'll see if Heroics can come through those. Palafox wants to keep the fight going. Ablazeolive takes a slow from Luger as well. So that damage is looking nice as Dhokla reconvenes the team. Looks like he's going to go ahead and cross map, walk all the way to bot lane. And leave Zeri to answer top. Looks like they really want Luger to always be in the lane up against Stixxay. Sivir had burned Ghost in previous team fight, remained in range, everything. Was Cole first recall, stacking that one up. Not too far away from that combined. Top lane turret takes scarcely any damage as ultimately he's going to take the reset to grab his next components.
Yep, looking pretty good here. We'll see. Luger does have the opportunity to potentially take over these fights, so he is that one with the Lulu. But I do think it's going to be tough to actually punch through this front line, and there is point and click CC. There's a lot of backline damage, so there's not as many ways, I think, for CLG to actually play out these fights. They're more reliant, I think, in the majority of cases. Like, sure, if you get the perfect flank from Akali and Renekton, it can go very different. But in the majority of cases, I think they have to kind of disengage and kite back and try to use the Trundle pillar for disengage.
Has to
nice sidestep.
Yeah, great sidestep by Contractz. Flash now forced out as well. Really nice by CLG. Everyone stepping up to force the only 2 big cooldowns out of Ablazeolive. His ulti's gone, does nothing. His flash forced afterwards. Is on a Crown of the Shattered Queen. I think a very smart tech up against Akali. Rushes it, doesn't finish boots, goes no. I need to not get one shot by the combo. If you have to wait 3 seconds, we get to hit you back. So I think Owen's quite smart.
Yep. Just have to make sure it doesn't get poked off, because if you do get tagged by any poke, that item is useless. So we'll have to be, keeping distance from the Akali for sure, and also watching out for things like the Zeri zap. But it is going to be Herald dropped here mid. Tower almost low enough to actually go down fully. And Palafox
lands it. Palafox into stun, a lot of damage, but Lulu keeps him alive for now. He's going to be able to kite away. Staying alive, still 400 HP. Zap comes across, hits Olleh for a bit of a slow. Herald charge still lands, but not to kill the turret. There was enough defense from the rest of CLG. River and Dhokla spotting each other. Licorice making himself known as the wards go down, and will be Licorice, I think, with maybe the Bomby Cinderburn, actually claims the kill onto Scuttle Crab.
And Palafox just walking very boldly, through Golden Guardians there. Does get hooked up. Not going to be punished, though. Is closing in on what I assume is going to be his rocket belt. Looking to get, pretty aggressive here. But he'll have to be able to find those big plays. Akali's like baseline contribution to fights is very low, right? You have to be able to really connect to be able to threaten that backline. Either Ablazeolive or Stixxay, pretty much. If you're hitting frontline, you are just never going to do nearly as much as the Azir. So he's got to really be able to find those angles, find those windows, and avoid the CC as best as possible, because you can get swept out of your shroud, by the Azir ulti, which can always be problematic. Something you have to really watch out for.
Indeed. For now, you've got a pretty tense and close game. First Drake does belong to Golden Guardians. They've actually grabbed every objective so far this game. No turret slain, but first Herald and first Drake went to them.
There's the Cull Pop as well for Stixxay, so has a lot of gold in pocket now. You know, is up to 5K. He's good 700-800 ahead of where Luger is at this point. You know, already had the Mythic complete prior to the Cull Pop, so I'm gonna be feeling really good about that early recall for that.
Yeah.
And looks like Golden Guardian's just gonna continue playing towards this bottom side to try to establish, you know, a sole win condition here. They want to be able to pull CLG to them, force them to fight for these windows where they're not really particularly ready. It looks like potentially a Nashor's second as well for Ablazeolive, so very different build here.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone for the Conqueror in this case, so it's very much about the longer form team fight, and says, yeah, like if I'm crowned, you're not one-shotting me, so it's gonna be a longer team fight, and let's go. I'm gonna get auto attacks out. I think it's really cool. We'll see if it works out well for him, of course, as he is gonna push in for a bit more. Has done some chunking on a Palafox, who is already burned through his refillable potions, but ultimately decides not to go for any more. Third plate was not claimed, or second plate, I believe, was not claimed in the bottom lane turret. It got low, but was not killed. And now we see Drake coming up in 3 seconds. Golden Guardians. Well, TP is up for both top laners. Level 11 on the Renekton, only 10 on Licorice's Ornn. And Contractz is saying, I'm going top side, we're going second Herald.
I mean, that's really the only place they have any sort of advantage, right? And it is a pretty significant gold lead. 1,300 for the Renekton, but the fact that Golden Guardians is up almost 900 gold, even with Renekton being up 1,300, is definitely very concerning. Because the Renekton, you know, is not necessarily going to have the easiest time, I think, to actually functioning at this comp, unless he can find one of those really, really good TP flanks. There's another dragon there, grabbed by Golden Guardians, so next one will be Soul Point here. Potentially, they're looking for a wraparound, at least to threaten it. But River will just go back towards Krugs, and Palafox should be safe to actually clear this one out.
Does so. Has reinforced come in as well. Another Hextech Rift. 4 out of 5 games, Azael? Hextech Rift?
Yeah.
They're constantly around the map.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting because it's been actually very impactful in the games, right? We've been seeing all of these resets and constant fights around objectives where people are able to recall and get back so much faster than they would otherwise be able to do. So it's really changing kind of the calculations on whether or not you can do some of these objectives, which has been really, really fun to watch.
Poome just puts the defensive ward down and says, okay, we're going to shadow Palafox for a moment there. These champions are trying to trade gold back and forth.
And the pace of the game just really favors Golden Guardians right now, I think. The slower it goes, probably the better. Licorice, yes, he is behind, but the longer the game goes, he's going to stabilize. And I feel like he's kind of at that point where he's stabilized, where you're not likely to see the CS advantage really extend past this 30 or so mark. It's probably going to be staying parked around that. A couple more levels, he's going to get his Mythic through. Unfortunately, no local gold claim there on the first tower, but still, Golden Guardians slowly but surely extending their advantages here. And they're the ones that have most of the ability to choose their fights. And when you're ahead and you have you're the team with engaged, it's really hard to actually be able to find those flanks. Like when you're losing in the vision game, you know, of course, yes, it is early for an objective, but like there's no wards in either side of the enemy jungle for CLG, right? They have no advanced vision whatsoever. And in fact, if you look around the dragon, it's actually this big line of wards right there for Golden Guardians. So, you know, if you're trying to walk into this team, it's going to be really, really tough to find those successful fights that you need.
Turret gets lower and lower. You know, there isn't a lot of action, but there is steady forward progress. Mid lane outer turret dropped to the minions, as you mentioned. Half the gold earned as global. Bot lane turret down to a single wave away from killing it. Stixxay has finally gotten his recall off for Zerker Green Zeal. There you go. Happy to have that one. We're to know that it's 2 Drake count. So timer, honestly, relatively short. We're poised for a 25-minute soul if Golden Guardians are giving control this one. And it means that CLG will have to find their way back in unless they think they actually outscale on Trundle Renekton. And yeah, I don't really see it either, but maybe Heroic's going to come through. Here we go. Pillar, but it's not in the right spot. Stixxay ran right. Was able to get behind enough of the pillar that it was a straight shot back.
I mean, they definitely have the opportunity to win fights in the later stages of the game, always, right? If you can find that perfect flank, you know, with Akali and, you know, with the Renekton. But I do think it's going to be pretty tough for them to actually find those fights consistently, which is why I think I favor Golden Guardians comp point in the later stages, even though there is Zeri Yuumi, which does scale very well. I do think it's going to be really, really tough to actually deal with what Golden Guardians have crafted. And the fact that they are playing this pace of game here, you know, slowly eking out more and more advantages here as Ablazeolive on that bottom side. Dude, he takes down a tower. It's now almost 2K ahead there. They're the ones with both the dragons. CLG have to be first to an objective, I think, to really have a reasonable chance at it.
Information gained. 1v3 scoops back to buy some time, but does he have any other way out? Doesn't have a stopwatch or anything else. Tries to cut away, flashes a safety. In goes Akali, and the flash meant nothing from the Golden Guardians mid laner. Finally, CLG get the play, they get the momentum, they get a kill picked off.
Yeah, big kill there on that bottom side. Ablazeolive very far up here in this bottom lane. Thought he was covered with some of that deep vision that I had highlighted earlier, but does get stuck around on and does get taken down. Nice to get that kill on Palafox. You want him to be playing ahead of the pace of the game here so we can threaten the 100-0s on these carries. That's the way that CLG is going to find wins in these team fights. And now Herald, that they actually traded for this last dragon, is going to be dropped here mid. Pretty early though, you know, it's just gonna get the charge. There's no plates, and actually might not even get the charge.
He picked it up like right at like 14,
oh, no.
25. It's gonna go down. Herald does nothing. Extra local gold, of course, added a few pats to go, so some money to Contractz, but he probably could have gone top lane. Renekton did have pressure. There were 3 minutes straight where it could have gone there, so yes, I think it was a planning mistake by CLG.
Yeah.
But timer was running out. It was right at 14. He started the second Herald, and no time was left to that. It's going here, I guess, and it meant nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. It does hurt. Oh, River going to be chunked out there pretty heavily, but Palafox does have to be a little bit careful. I mean, not the end of the world, but you know, it is one of those situations where it's like you invested the time. You definitely want to get the chunk on a tower, right? That you can maybe pick up later on. 10 seconds though until dragons spawn. Golden Guardians do have the inside track here on the river, but Dhokla trying to set up one of these flanks I was talking about. You've got to attack from multiple angles. So it looks like they're going to try to have Dhokla coming from below, Palafox coming from the side. You know, Palafox here, Dhokla potentially here, and the rest of the team would be coming from the other side. They want to have that pincer move to really threaten this Golden Guardians backline, but that's why Licorice and River are clearing space.
When's the team fights are going to happen? Stun on a Trundle. Of course he's going to ult the Ornn, but will it be enough is the question. Palafox is in the left side flank,
from here,
and they don't know he's there. Boomerang Blade won't let him, but see him run away. Drake, 10,000 health. Tanky after the patch a little bit ago. Olleh marking, sees Palafox. Anchor's going to land. Can they find the kill, though? Stun won't matter. He goes invisible. Actually immunes the spell, so it doesn't even go off in the first place. It dropped vision before the spell completed. So he still has that on Olleh's side. Over the wall goes Palafox with the Hextech gate.
CLG getting lower and lower, though. They're tanking this dragon this whole time, right? Like, look at Contractz. He's almost half health. Look at Dhokla. He's down to almost half health. Palafox is missing a good 30%.
Spotted. Everyone
on Golden Guardians is 100% HP. This is going bad for them.
They're going to play Death Ball. They scoop. Can they find the kill? He flashes back. Ults to safety for now. Licorice low. Licorice will drop. River burning Azonia's Hourglass.
Up to
Luger.
Luger.
Go for a bit more. Does Luger have it? He's going to burn. He's going to burn Golden Guardians. And it's Golden Guardians down to only 2. The double for Dhokla. And CLG come alive in game 5.
CLG find the fight. They're tired of waiting there. They saw that they were getting whittled down slowly but surely. And now they find that engage. Palafox goes in. Everyone turns on him, but they can't actually finish him off. And now they're onto the Baron. They're going to try to stop both sides at once here.
Lulu
Here comes Palafox.
Well. Palafox pretty big. No ulti, but it's going to be enough. It's going to force the team away as Baron is still being claimed. He's going to try the big damage with Ablazeolive. Next auto will kill. Q gets him. Stixxay endangered. Spell shield misses everything. Fox goes back in for the double, and CLG are sending Golden Guardians to the Shadow Realm.
Palafox is going off in this game. They get wins on both sides of the map. TP's back in, gets a double, taking down both the big carries for Golden Guardians, and they get the Baron here. FLICKR just got paid, almost has a full second item. They're gonna try to rush out on the map here and stop this dragon from going down. It's gonna go down so slow. They have an Ornn and a Nautilus hitting it alongside River, so it's really all up to River to stop this.
And they got a blast bundle, they want it, so this is a pretty easy one to get into.
Yeah, and they're TPing.
Smites are up, and it's gonna be a great pillar. Olleh's got no easy way out. Flashes the wall, may stay alive, but Poome is still there for a bit more of a slow, and there's something else he can really do. Anchors again, the blue smite is in. And as Dhokla gets zoned out, a stopwatch buys enough time. The team can re-engage. That's an engage. That's going to be Poome. That's going to be a knockback to the backline. A flash to safety. Will it be enough is the question. Self-ult gets away from the Viego. A stun channel. Not going to go for it.
But CLG could have just taken the dragon, right? Just take the dragon. They're trying to chase for all these kills here. And now they've actually given Golden Guardians time to reestablish themselves here. Stixxay is back. Ablazeolive is back and actually favor their position at this dragon fight. We'll see if CLG can find an angle to get in again.
Palafox wants to flank yet again. Ulti coming across the front line. Licorice is low. River's dead already. One in the front line. Second one going to be claimed as the Drake falls. A flash of safety, but Stixxay could be attacked. Scoop buys some time. Ablazeolive gets the team out, but not far enough. Palafox is unstoppable. CLG got the Baron. They got 7 kills in a row. They even got the Drake.
Palafox coming alive in game 5 here. 5 kills now on the Akali, withstanding the onslaught for the first 15-20 minutes. Locked under tower, and now really just taking over in these team fights, finding the angles to get into the back line and forcing Golden Guardians to absolutely scatter here.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Last 4 kills were because Golden Guardians played as aggressively as they could. Baron was claimed, the gold lead was there. He said, we're gonna go for 3rd dragon. We're gonna contest for 3rd dragon. We're gonna go for this one as well. Positioning is gonna be there, and it never was. The 3-0 got Baron. Well done, CLG. Good team fight, great heroics. But the rest was cleanup, with Golden Guardians sticking around, fighting again, and not willing to give this away.
Yeah, here it is again. You would think this play would go well for them, because look at Palafox. He's actually going through the portal, but they just lose the fight anyway. River and Licorice getting shredded in the front line by all of this AoE from Luger, from Dhokla, the ulti from Contractz. They just get melted, and then Stixxay left alone here at the front, can't find a way to actually get the damage out here. Yes, Ablazeolive finds the disengage ulti, but Palafox over the wall, the zap tags, and it's cleanup duty there for Palafox. CLG really playing these fights well, and Dhokla and Contractz just running over the front line to start that one off with all of the AoE damage coming through from Luger. They're just crushing through the Ornn and through the Viego as well, and they're falling further and further behind.
An important detail in the last fight, Olleh had ulti, but was out of mana to cast it. I think they're like, yeah, it's 5v4. What is ult frontline? We'll kill Contractz and Dhokla. And he's like, I can root once. And I mean, that makes such a big difference when you just you just double kill the frontline instantly. You get your Triumph resets, your health comes back up, and you're like, what are you gonna do, Palafox? You have the frontline left.
And I mean, you look at the gold difference now on the top lane, right? It was a very slight advantage. That is now over 3,000 gold in the favor of Dhokla. And the Ornn is getting heavily outpaced. This game really exploded into team fights. None of them went well for Golden Guardians, and now this Renekton is closing in on 3 items. Well, Licorice is kind of a hodgepodge of items going in different directions here. You know, he has part of a Frozen Heart, part of a Force of Nature, part of a Thorn Mail there as well. So it's going to be 3 completed items for Dhokla well before Licorice has 2. And that does mean you can sometimes just focus down that front line. You Trundle ult him, you shred him up with the Black Cleaver, Zeri's hitting him, and he becomes paper.
Wave goes down. We look for the zap through the Trundle pillar. Doesn't quite get that one there, but doesn't really matter. 2 minutes to go until CLG get their 2nd Drake of the game, most likely. Golden Guardians, I think, need to stop the bleeding, chill out for a bit. Nice rocket belt by Palafox, gets rid of the crown shield. That is gone here for Ablazeolive, but guess what? I'm sure there's more coming soon. Wave clear is going to be safe enough here. A while to go until Infinity Edge is in for Stixxay, but obviously wants that one quite severely.
Yeah, and I think Golden Guardians have got to try to find a way to extend this game. Contractz does have flash. Will he have to use it?
River!
God.
Ult's away, W's away, has to stay alive, has the move speed for a bit. Olleh able to get out there as well, but that was just far too much.
I mean, River is just so behind at this point. It feels like he is so squishy here. You know, on the Viego that gets hit by a zap, a little bit of damage comes through, and he is just almost instantly dead. It's becoming a very hard one for them, but they've got to try to turtle it up. Stixxay in trouble.
Doesn't have a flash. The pillar's going to be in the right spot. Contractz knocks him down. A great setup there by CLG's jungler. It's 11-1. It's 7,500 gold in the lead. Mid lane tower not going to live for too long, but going to choose to wait, spend their time. Buy. Baron's up in 45 seconds. Dragon's up in just 50.
Yeah, and you look at them setting up this 1-3-1, right? You know, Contractz is bouncing back and forth, so right now it's a 1-2-2 kind of, but Palafox pushing up on top side with that pick. There's no one to answer him, so he gets that tier 2 tower. Golden Guardian's going to look for a desperation engage here. I think this could be the game.
Ulted for Trundle. Can they get a single cut of this one? They're just spamming the CC on the Trundle. They're going to get him. Yes, he's healing. He gets Lulu'd. Bit of damage on these here, but they cannot find the kill. Poome is there in time. Contractz ulti buys the space as well.
Yeah,
And Akali waiting in the wings.
They try to force there. If they could have gotten that, they would have given them perhaps a way back in. Not able to find much. They've just got to try to slow it down, turtle it up as much as possible. Hope that Azir and Sivir can just hoover up a ton of farm here. And hope that your scaling can kick in from those big carries, that Licorice can continue getting experience, but They are so behind, not just in gold, but in XP, right? It's 2 levels for Contractz over River. It's 2 levels for Dhokla over Licorice, a level for Palafox, a level for Luger over Stixxay, right? All of this is more and more and more gold that's not even shown on the scoreboard there. All of the additional stats that they do have means so much, and there it is, the 3rd item already completed for Dhokla. Still just pieces for Licorice, so this Ornn is really on the struggle bus.
Drake will get hit pretty quickly. Not going to be a problem here at all. Plenty of damage out of the Trundle, plenty out of the Renekton. Second Drake goes to CLG. Of course, objective bounties are on. Golden Guardians down far enough that they need the help in finding a cross-map turret or an objective steal or something, as they slowly wait to get the rest of their items online. Still over 1,000 gold, I think, away for Stixxay to finish his Infinity Edge. 30 gold handed off. There you go. Olleh gets a bit more there. He's on his own way to Azonia's Hourglass. And Titanic, not far for Luger. He should have it in plenty of time. Unless they want to do a Baron bait right now, but I think CLG are comfortable.
Yeah, Stixxay still needs a good 600 gold or so now to be able to actually get that combined. We'll see if he has it. No, he actually did complete enough gold, so did finish up a couple more camps.
Okay.
And does have his IE, so that's actually a really big deal. Big spike for him there. Has a tremendous amount of farm still. Ablazeolive is also on 3 items. Does have the upgraded Ornn item. A little bit surprising that they actually upgraded the Crown of the Shattered Queen instead of the mythic here for Stixxay, but Palafox now pretty far out.
Out of energy, can stealth, needed flashes the wall. Needs reinforcements at some point. With Flash, he's able to get away enough, and then there's the rest of the team. Last plant into the Baron pit, and they're going right away.
Yeah, this is instantly spotted though. Unfortunate that they used both their blue trinkets at the same time, because now they don't have any more available. So they can't actually recheck here whatsoever. And it becomes a little bit dicey. They're going to have to get wards in over the wall. They do see that it's going down, but Palafox is back in base. He could look for a TP flank if they overcommit. And Dhokla is also threatening here on the side.
Ornn has
a very tough approach.
He's still walking. Ornn is still not part of this fight. It's under 5k health. At what point does Golden Guardians actually get in this fight? Because CLG are still pushing down this Baron. More vision comes over. They're aware it's at 4k. CLG keep the aggro. Well, they might find their way in. Good damage. They're going to force an Angel. Palafox, 1,000,000 damage here. And you've got to catch out on Olleh. He's going to find a stun, but it won't matter. Palafox gets back out. 1-for-0 support is down.
Yeah, he's down, and River lost the GA and the ulti and has no health. So he's going to be sent back to base here. The low health bars on CLG mean that they can't just go straight towards the Baron. Stixxay just trying to push out these waves as fast as possible. We'll get the upgraded Ornn item now. So Stixxay is a true threat here. Both the Azir and the Sivir on 3 items, but Ablazeolive not exactly a high DPS build here. Crown of the Shattered Queen, Banshee's Veil. He has the Oblivion Orb, so a lot of his gold is not really giving him as much DPS as you would hope.
Nope, he's going towards maybe some health. I mean, Morello's 4th makes some sense, gets more HP to not be assassinated. I mean, if he's not dead, theoretically the team fight can look good,
Baron.
but again, they are back at it. Ablazeolive spots that with a soldier, where they have quite some time. Pillar will hit him, but until you take champion damage, I believe it will not pop the crown. So he's still got those shields up, not an easy target. Once again, knows what's going on, gets away from the Zeri lightning. Olleh again will ward over the wall. Infration's still known. Licorice has ulti. Can the fight look good? There's the anchor. They've got a bit of a stun towards Palafox, but can they kill him? He's invisible. The scoop from Azir gets back over, stays alive. Licorice is the target, and Licorice goes down. One picked up. Ablazeolive flows for everything he can, but a stopwatch just stymies it. A flash River Stixxay, Contractz in the chase, gets the pillar, will take him down. Sivir falls, and it's going to be CLG getting everything else. River knows the season is over. A triple kill for Luger. CLG with the Bud Light ace.
That feels like that's the end of this one. CLG crushing through in game 5, 17-1, 11,000 gold lead before the Baron even falls. They've got everything they could possibly need to try to close this one out. Golden Guardians have put up a heroic fight here, making this series so much closer than anyone was predicting it to be. But it's this final fight here that may have sealed the deal. Licorice coming in on the side. Everyone tries to collapse back onto Palafox, but Palafox is so evasive. Just goes into the Shroud. They can't get the damage out here. Ult over the wall. Shuriken flip back into the pit. And in the meanwhile, Licorice is going down. Ablazeolive decides, all right, I'm going in. I'm going to try to finish you off. But the stopwatch is there. Dhokla comes over the wall, bursts down Ablazeolive. The knockup from the Lulu ult over the wall. Then he's able to hit him into the stun. And with Contractz chasing down Stixxay, the carries all fall. River looking like he knows this one is over, just gave up in the top lane there.
Yep.
Wouldn't have been able to get away from the Zeri, but man, a tough ending here, potentially for Golden Guardians.
Seems likely. 1,098 days since CLG won a best of 5. Poised to do it here, sent to the lower bracket, and in a close-fought battle against Golden Guardians, poised to take Game 5 here and move on to the top 6 here in the postseason. Waiting for a bracket match to find who their opponent will be, but you feel like in their minds, like, okay, we just gotta close it out. Don't need heroics. Tower dive if you need to, but collect the gold, use the Baron buff, knock the inhibitors down. They're leaving the Drake up, by the way, the third Drake for either team. They know Golden Guardians can't sneak out to play for it. And no rush, get the gold during the Baron buff. Soul's not important. Just getting the maximum of income, and yeah, let them solo it, it's fine. It'll be easy enough. 2 of them head over. CLG, no, they just have to make sure they can check every box. They can close this out.
Yep, absolutely. They've got to continue pushing this one forward. They have everything they need to close it out. Don't necessarily want to wait for that next Baron to be able to do it. And they're pushing in from multiple sides, all 3 waves, trying to time them to crash here at the same time. Ablazeolive answering on top side, but in goes Palafox.
And he gets him away. Nice E backwards, I believe, to get out from the scoop, and it's going to be falling. There's the ulti. Very end to make sure it's all going to be safe. River can't find a fight either.
Yeah.
First inhibitor turret has fallen 7-2 in turrets, 3-2 in Drakes. Golden Guardians get the first 2, and then never again found their ways in.
It's definitely a tough one now. You know, Palafox now with that tower down can threaten the flank towards mid, right? All they have to do is actually push them back. Just get them away from the towers. Contractz just gonna walk up, bold as you like, and just try to get some damage down on these towers. They haven't had the waves crashing at the exact same time, so Golden Guardians has been able to bounce back and forth and defend them thus far. Top lane inhib getting low though. This cannon working away at that mid lane tower. Someone's got to get that bot lane moving in the right direction though if they want to try to threaten the triple inhib here.
Letting him forward, his River gets his upgraded Mythic there. Licorice gonna keep putting items on as best he can, but CLG looking now for the mid lane. Dhokla gonna dive in, try to find his first stun, won't get anyone. Golden Guardians running away. Inhibitor down in mid, inhibitor down in top. Bot lane, the last bastion to safety. Oh, and okay, it does fall at the very end. It got stuck at 2 HP, but top is indeed dead. 3.5 minutes till Hextech Soul for CLG. Baron buff is gone, 3 minutes till that spawns.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Golden Guardians to even get up there on the map, but very likely will have to try to fight for the Soul. They could make the call to just give up Soul, turtle in the base, and only fight for the Nexus. You do have Azir, you do have Sivir. If you can make this game go to 6 items for both of them, there may be some sort of hope here. But that's kind of the desperation that you're looking for, and Licorice way too far out.
Yep. Hextech Rift makes it easy to get there to the backside. He burns his ulti. That cooldown is about the same as his respawn timer. It might come back to bite them, but now, Baron buff or not, 5v4 is the chance to siege. This wave is gone. Mid's being pushed in by Palafox. Sivir Azir. It's gonna look decent. River can spot out. Hey, that's an enemy champion. GA is back up. Rockabelt finds Stixxay. Not gonna be the target of anything else, though. No ulti in, but again, this is 5v4. This is dangerous for Golden Guardians. Zap hits Olleh for 484. Over the wall goes Ablazeolive, stays alive, but that pressure in mid means bot is open. Bot has fallen. Triple inhib down.
And they're going to continue the push here. Still 15 seconds or so on to Licorice. Dhokla getting low, though. Can they actually threaten? They do land the stun.
And they get the Lulu walled out. And Licorice could go for a flank TP, but there aren't many wards. There's one in the top jungle. That's about it. And even that one can't be TP'd to. It's a blue trinket. There's going to be nothing here. It's a control ward spot. What's going on there?
Yeah. I think at this point, you just don't leave your base. You play for 6 items on both your carries. It's potentially the last game of your year here. You've got to just go for it, even though the odds are so massively stacked in the favor of CLG here. You know, it's already nearly a 16,000 gold lead. You add in Soul potentially, and that's going to be even worse. But your opponents are capping out on items, so there is that slim chance that you just soak up all this farm from supers being pushed in on all sides, and you try to pray that you can hold on and maybe capitalize on some sort of a mistake from the CLG side, or more likely it would have to be a series of mistakes, honestly, from the CLG side for Golden Guardians to get back into this.
Take a lot. You got kill bounties on everyone but the Lulu. A perfect 0-0-16. Immaculate for Poome. The best kind of scoreline you want to see on a support. Double goose egg to start things out, and then some large number afterwards. So pretty solid here. Has the Putrefier, has Shirelia's, and my favorite support item, upgraded Wardstone. Incredibly efficient. You get 2 control wards, you get 4 invis wards on the map. absolutely outstanding. Should be in every support thread build as far as I'm concerned. And indeed is there for him. One more slot. Of course, even holds your control ward, so you even get a real slot there.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, just the stats on it are actually pretty good. People really kind of underestimate it because it's a percent increase to AP, haste, and health, right? So you get actually quite a lot of CDR and everything from that, especially later on in the game. CLG, though, setting up here for this Baron, likely use the Baron to then take Soul and then really try to push to end the game here. Golden Guardians, of course, do have really good wave clear. And Stixxay, you know, he's on 5.5, and he almost has enough gold for his Moss, so he's almost on 6 items. It won't be, you know, 100% crit build here because he is going for the Maw, but trying to pay respect to Palafox and the damage that he can put out. Obviously, is incredibly threatening. Blaze is on 5+ stopwatch, so definitely a lot of damage that can be put out from this Golden Guardian side, but
maximize the amount of time they have Baron. I think it's smart, right? Okay, we've got Baron. Cool, we'll burn down the dragon. Hextech Soul will be claimed. And Golden Guardians bet everything on defending their Nexus against a Dragon Soul. House the Dragon Soul Hextech is in for CLG against a Baron buff, against triple inhibitor. It does not get scared in this outside of getting Elder Dragon on top. Realistically, they do not need more than this. But the Maw is done. 6 items for Stixxay. A stopwatch, you know, a budget Zonia's. Basically full build for Ablazeolive. Everyone else now needs gold. Good luck.
So tough to clear out the waves, though, with double supers in all waves, plus the Baron buff. Just the amount of damage you need to actually even keep up with this is really, really tough. You can see that poke onto River, going to send him back to base already. But they have to sync the waves so that everything crashes at the same time. That's when it becomes truly overwhelming. They're going to TP in, though.
TP's back in. Is it going to be enough now? Golden Guardians, Ricochet, keep in mind, has a target cap. This is not old Sivir where you actually just hit everything on every single wave and you'll let you burn it down. There's actually enough that you won't even hit champions afterwards. But they got to try right now. Here comes the siege. This is the attack for the inhibitor or Nexus turrets, and it's got to be this. River holds the front line with camouflage. Dhokla on the side. Licorice, will he find the engage? Turret's nearly dead. They can keep running it down. First one falls. At what point will they fight? Ult comes across it. Will knock in Zeri. But it's going to be enough. A stopwatch burn with the support. A scoop back onto Renekton. Who's going to be the target right now? Because Stixxay's back in the fountain already, and the turrets are already gone. Back to the inhibitors. They're going to knock that one down as well. Palafox ults back to safety. Golden Guardians buy some time, but Zeri is still mostly free-firing. And again, the Fountain is here to help Golden Guardians. CLG find some damage onto their AD carry. Can they kill him? Luger flashes, stays alive, but the stopwatch burned. Ablazeolive forced out, Olleh forced out, and the kills are coming through. That's gonna be it. CLG in Game 5 knock out Golden Guardians.
Their first playoff series win since 2019. Was a hard-fought victory, but CLG do it. They clean it up in game number 5 here, 41 minutes in. A long, grueling series, hard-fought by both teams. So much closer than anyone was predicting. Golden Guardians really made them work for it, you know, even when down monumentally in the gold leads. This one did come down to a one-sided 5th game, but really back and forth series overall. CLG will be moving on, can be happy about that. Not necessarily happy about the way that the series went as competitive as it was. I think is going to be a surprise to CLG.
Yep.
You know, definitely we're coming in, I think, as the huge favorites, expecting to be able to crush through. Golden Guardians, I did feel really did step up and played a lot better league than we have seen from them all split long. But now CLG, time for celebrations. It's time to prepare as well for who could be their opponent next week. That would be TSM that they would be going up against.
He's on the other side, I believe. I believe you're going to play the loser of 100 Thieves Team Liquid. It's going to be TSM versus the Cloud and EG side. They'll converge later on.
Yep.
I mean, I'd be down for the TSM CLG but that means beating TLR 100 Thieves. That is the road forward for CLG, of course. They fought Cloud9 and get the other side of the bracket. That's the move forward. But hey, you got 4th in the regular season. You are supposed to have these high highs. And they've got to reach that again.
Yep.
You know, it's this bittersweet victory. I mean, same as how they felt good about their loss to Cloud9. Like, hey, we had control. It's going to be fine. We'll run the lower bracket. It shouldn't be a big problem. This defeat against Golden Guardians, like, yes, you won, but this is closer than you knew it wanted to be, right? Yep. CLG's like, we should have stomped this. And Golden Guardians did step up, but it felt like there were a lot of mistakes on CLG's side as well.
Yeah, there absolutely were. I mean, there was mistakes on both sides. It definitely was, more of a kind of fast and loose series. There was a lot of scrapping. Definitely a lot of things that they'll want to review. And for sure, I mean, it is the 8th seed that you just barely scrape past, and you're going to have to go up against, either the 2nd or the 3rd seed, right?
Yep.
So it's definitely going to be a big step up in levels of competition. But we also know that CLG can turn in some really, really impressive performances, right? And we have seen them play at a high level before as well. So I think that's what they're going to be looking to focus on. Focus on their own gameplay, focus on just trying to play the cleanest possible League of Legends that they can, no matter who that they're going to be fighting against next week. But definitely an exciting series and way more than I thought we were going to get. And I got to say, shout out to Stixxay, man. I thought he played a hell of a series, especially in the first couple of games. His first 2 Zeri games were out of this world.
Oh, yeah. He was absolutely excellent. So hopefully we will see more of them next year. But Golden Guardians season is over. We bid farewell to them. They end in 7th, 8th alongside FlyQuest. Now we are joined by LeTigress and Palafox in a Verizon postgame interview.
Welcome everyone to the stage after this victory from CLG. All right, I've got Palafox. I know you said some things in your interview with Travis about, I'm not too worried about it, regardless of who we face off against. That went 5 games though. How are you feeling about it now?
I think it's just feeling of relief. I thought I played kind of bad today. It was a little bit off, but glad we pulled through,
Definitely wasn't the case in game number 5, smashing on the Akali. Tell me a bit about that game, specifically though the fight that happened around Baron, because you were making some moves.
There's so many fights actually.
Yeah, there was a fight around Baron, and then you ended up going into the pit. You had a really good stopwatch to follow.
Yeah, so I think my mentality in this game is more that I just need to stall time for my team, right? So as long as I just have 4 people around me just trying to kill me and I'm completely fine, we'll just win the game, so.
You were drawing so much attention to you in that fight and throughout the game. I mean, this was a hard-fought series for sure. Stixxay on the other side was kind of monstrous at times. How do you feel that you were able to end up closing out the series?
Yeah, I mean, it's just in the last game, obviously it was a lot less bloody than the other ones, and it's just slow, steady. We have better macro. We're slowly gonna push in. Honestly, there was one time, I don't know if anyone saw, but I was pushing in with the wave and Sivir W just got me to 200 health and I was in disbelief. I was like, oh my God, the game might be hard. But yeah, in the end, it's just.
Yeah, just utterly shocked with some of the damage output there.
Yeah.
And I mean, when coming into this series, we already talked when you were on Bud Light League Lounge about, building up that experience in playoffs, these best of 5s. You've now done 2 of them that have went all 5 games. What do you feel is the greatest learning from the 10 games you have played thus far in summer playoffs?
I think it's actually important that we went 5 games in both series, right? The more practice we get on stage, the more we can test our endurance. And I think that, I mean, in the C9 series, I just have to say there's so much energy. And this series is more toned down and yeah, it was just.
Which do you think was harder, having a lot of energy maybe that you were trying to control against C9, or in this case where maybe it's a little less energy, but you're having to push through that and hold through? Honestly,
I like it being a little hyped up, I like the energy. So.
Yeah, we do too. There's a lot of energy when CLG plays just because of the manner in which you play.
Yeah.
The next series should be pretty banging. You're gonna play the loser of Team Liquid versus 100 Thieves. Thoughts on that?
I'm just excited to play a really good team in playoffs. It's going to be a fun series.
It's going to be a fun one for sure. Last question. Any dreams to share from your latest dream journal?
Any dreams? No, unfortunately not.
None today. Just the dream of making the run, right?
Yeah, the dream of the run. Actually, I've been having so many league dreams recently. So.
I feel like that happens a lot when you're in the midst of competition, right?
Yeah.
Well, we will leave you to the league dreams and the league play on the stage when you take to it again with CLG. Thank you so much for the interview.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
We've got another player from CLG we are hearing from now. Contractz is standing on by with High for our Pro to Pro.
Nice.
Hello everyone, I have Contractz with me here today. Well, before we get into the game, you just told me that it was your birthday yesterday.
It was.
So happy birthday to you.
Thank you, thank
How
you.
old are you now?
I'm 23. I'm getting on the esports veteran age.
That is getting pretty old. When we pllayed together,
It's time
you're
to go to the
19.
retirement home. Yep.
All right, cool. So I have this first clip here. It's from game 1. I don't know if you remember because it's 4 hours ago. But
it's vague.
Yeah, I'll play this team fight out, and all I'm basically looking from you is that it's game 1, and you have this super massive close fight, 3v3 in the blue forest. How are you really feeling from this? Are you having super hyped up on adrenaline, and after you win the fight, Are you that confident you're going to win this game now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're doing exactly. I think they're kind of trolling a bit, trying to one-shot a Trundle with Azir Poppy. They can never one-shot me before I can get my ult off, so it ended up just being a good fight because I can ult, and then I mean, they've already used their whole burst, so the fight's just better for us.
Gotcha. So as this game continues onward, I know this very tragic thing where when it gets later in the game, all your laners just take all of your camps. So here you see he's taking your blue, he's taking your gromp, he's taking your wolves. He tries to follow you to the race and try to take the race too. So at what point in the game do you decide, okay guys, you can take all my camps now. I'm just a Trundle, I just ult.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing for certain item spikes here, that's why. I mean, but eventually, like, I mean, once I only have 700 gold here, and my next item is like 1,000 or so away. So, gold on me is just not very important. I mean, it's just better to get items on carries for the next objective fight, whether that's Dragon or Baron.
Do you do this on other champions like Viego and stuff too, or are you like, give me back my camp?
It really depends. Obviously, on carry champs, you want to be more item reliant and gold reliant. But if it like hits certain item spikes, then it's better to give it to your laners.
Gotcha, gotcha. So as we continue forward, I have a set of 2 clips after this that are going to be the same thing. Basically, in the early game of every game you guys played, it's super aggressive. Let me fast forward. I don't know when this one stops. All right, here we go. So in like every single game, you guys are doing early tower dives. You do it top, you do it bottom, you invade the jungle every single time. So can you tell me about, are you guys specifically practicing this in scrims? Are you like looking for early game plays, and like if it doesn't go well, you restart the scrim, or how's this going? Because every single game you guys are fighting in every lane, you're invading everywhere.
I mean, that's just me. That's just my playstyle, right? I mean, I'm always looking for angles where I can either invade early, I can punish enemy jungler, I can impact lanes. I think I have a very good, like, creative playstyle. I think outside the box pretty well, and a lot of junglers don't really like expect getting invaded, and they don't know how to deal with it. So.
All right, so this is something that you facilitate. Then you tell your team, hey, I'm coming for this dive. Hey, I'm going for this gromp. You guys better back me up pretty soon. And it's something that you're always communicating with your team?
Yeah, obviously my laners like communicate like dive scenarios. I try to ask before the game which lanes are diveable, who has prio, etc. And based on the information that I give, I make my plan. Or they give me, I make my plan.
Gotcha. So this is one. All right, you have had a billion hectic team fights throughout this series.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember the specific one, but I'm gonna play it out. And as it goes, can you tell me a bit about how you felt throughout this entire series? I predicted you guys were gonna 3-0, but obviously the series has been a 3-2, and you guys have so many different team fights that are super hectic. Can you tell me a bit about, one, your expectations going into that, and how you feel now?
Yeah, I mean, in these best of 5 games ago, 30, 40 minutes, everyone is very strong. The gold is, well, everyone has a lot of gold, and there's a lot of different ways you can play team fights. So as long as we're identifying how we want to play the fight, and who our main targets are, what cooldowns we're waiting for, etc. That's all that's really important. But in this specific scenario, I didn't play that too well. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, dude, they played a replay here, and they played your comms, and then after this one right here, you got replay. What do you say right here?
Okay, I got it. I'm like, I think I said, oh fuck, I ult him away, and then here I said everything on Twitch.
Yeah.
My teammates were memeing me after this. She's like, everything on Twitch. I mean, it's just, you just get hyped. It's just in the moment.
It's
everything
funny.
for him. Feels ass.
All right, awesome. So one other note, did you notice that you got Hex Tech Soul 4 out of 5 of the games? I just see you guys flying everywhere, every single game. I'm like, and then yeah, it's 4 out of 5. One game you got
Now that I think about it, there was portals in literally every game.
Is that your favorite soul?
I mean, it makes the plays that you can make around the map much faster, and you have to think about tempo a lot more. And people have to respect like portal flanks or just like cheese plays, stuff like that. So definitely have to be more mindful of it. Changes quite a bit.
Gotcha. And then my final question is, do you have any preference on who you'd rather play in your next series? It's between Team Liquid and 100 Thieves, I believe.
No specific preference. I think playing versus TL would be nice. I like Tentorn.
Okay.
He's my Trundle inspiration.
Awesome, great. So that's all that we have for you today. Once again, congratulations on the win and happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And we are going to toss it to LeTigress.
Hey everyone, I've got Licorice. That was quite a series to witness. I just want to know right off the bat, how are you feeling? What's going through your head right now?
I mean, honestly, not a lot. I mean, it was a long series, tough fought. A lot of the games went really long, so like pretty drained right now. Sucks to lose. Like, I think when you win, you get the energy back. When you lose, it just kind of goes away. So yeah, I don't know.
And I know the sting is always very fresh in these moments, but you did all defy a lot of expectations, and there was so much strength shown that we were excited to see from you after the 2 weeks off. What are you thinking when looking upon that, and maybe some of the positives when growing with these teams in the final moments of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 2-week break was really good for us. I mean, we had a lot of roster movement over the year, so like there was a lot of things to iron out. And I mean, we got a lot better over the 2 weeks. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite good enough. So, yeah.
And that is something to at least carry through, into the remainder of the year. I know the season is over, but do you have any initial thoughts on what you or any of the team are taking away from this, kind of moving in, reflecting, preparing for 2023?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, Golden Guardians is definitely, I'm sure some things are going to change in the offseason. Just like, I mean, based on news that's already out, like they're gonna have to figure out what they want to do, and I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of like it for this year. Like I don't know what's gonna happen next year, but great to be here. Happy to be an LCS player still, and yeah, I don't know. Do my best. I'd like to come back next year.
I'm always happy to see you. I know there are those that are watching that experience the same exact thing. Any words that you would like to say to those that have supported you and the team through this series and beyond?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there was, I mean, this is really specific, but before the Dignitas game, that was our last game of the season, that was determining whether we make playoffs or not. There was one fan in the crowd who was really excited to see me. And he like waved and said my name, and like, it had just been like it's been a rough couple of years for me since, since I got kicked off of Cloud9, and like it just meant the world to me to have someone cheer for me, because it doesn't happen as often anymore. So yeah, like thanks to that guy, and thanks to all the fans.
Well, I hope that guy is watching. I'll be cheering for you. He will as well. Thank you so much for joining me so immediately after this series. Let's go ahead and close out the day on the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you so much, LeTigress. And Licorice, you've got more than just that fan. Yeah. All of us are cheering for you as well, my friend. And you guys put up, what an incredible fight you put up today. As Tigress said, expectations were not to have gotten a full 5-game series. We got that and then some, I'd even argue, to a certain degree. Jad, it's been 1 day since Contractz turned 23.
Yes.
It's been 0 days since CLG lost that best of 5. Lost or had not.
Won a best of 5.
Yeah, won a best of 5.
That's the key.
That's pretty cool.
You need a 23-year-old jungler. They haven't had that before. Really, it's hard to follow up all the words we just heard, right? We heard Palafox talk about what a long series it was and how he's just very drained. We got to see Contractz kind of walk through the whole series with High. And then we got to see the stakes that you don't necessarily realize are there as a viewer, because you're watching the number 4 seed in the losers bracket against the number 8 seed, and you're thinking like, what a throwaway game or something. But it's careers on the line. All these guys care an exceptional amount, and they absolutely did put up a great fight. They just fell short.
Well, and as stunned as we've been to be like, wow, like we all thought CLG, you were the only person who predicted CLG 3-1. Like, to have made the improvement that they did, the coordination, and more importantly, come in with an identity, right? Like, Licorice was a massive part of what they wanted to do here in terms of his topside pick, especially the flex poppy. And then playing around Stixxay, who had a phenomenal series.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they definitely played their heart out. Licorice in an interview did mention quickly the fact that like they had those 2 weeks to be able to prepare and put in their heart, put in their best play, and it definitely felt like that was the case.
Yeah, but Raz, let's talk about how CLG was able to wrap it up in the end. And I think this
part was it, Palafox.
I mean, Palafox on the Akali, right? When it came down to one final game, I have to believe the man said in Champions, like, lock it in for me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have to believe he made that call.
Yep. If his coach mentioned something, he looked him dead in the eyes and said, no, I'm locking in Akali.
Right.
And he played it so phenomenally, and these team fights definitely made you realize how good CLG is as a team when they get it themselves in order. And so really well done to them to be able to finish this one off. And it also gives you kind of a clue to the next opponent, via Team Liquid or 100 Thieves, just like what they feel comfortable in. Like what CLG is really good at. Like we mentioned the Akali. The Yone just wasn't, it was
not available for them
today.
Yeah.
It was completely axed. And so you saw CLG test it, and so now the opportunity, the week, I suppose, in which they get to really kind of settle in, scrim, figure out a new kind of draft strategy, or get more comfortable in the other ones they were trying today. That's going to be the real goal for CLG from here on out.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how they approach. Like, again, this series was all about these massive team fights and how well Golden Guardians were actually able to set up Stixxay on hyper carries.
Yes.
And we've talked about this team and how good Luger is, right? And how previously, when CLG was really struggling, get him. But CLG was really struggling. Oh, they should just play around Luger, right? Like, he is their hyper carry. And with Dhokla coming onto the team, we talked about then how much more flexible they became. We talked about picks that they can flex between Palafox and Dhokla. But you do have a hyper carry down there in Luger, and it's about how the team is going to adapt with that, plus this incredibly strong early game that we heard Contractz talking about.
Yeah, and so it's all about setting up your ADs in this case. There it is. Days, there, 0 days. That's crazy. So, like, it's a new day for your CLG.
Tomorrow
and
we start it again, though.
One day.
The last 7 days.
When will this drought end? Oh, Lord.
But the setup for your AD carry is incredibly important. I felt like it's all around one player that did it.
Contractz. Player of the series. I'm so glad we got to talk to him with Hai. I'm so happy that Hai was able to ask him about all of their early pressure, his willingness to invade, and how he just copped to it. It's my style. My style. I'm going to be in your face constantly.
And we talked about, even in their losses, how he was coming up with these really creative responses to get first blood, to get his laners ahead, to put them in really good positions.
Yeah, and so, like, it's incredibly important, especially going up against Golden Guardians, that their heart and soul, at least in the early portions of the game, is in River. And man, he was relentless. And he forced Golden Guardians to respond to the pressure that he had, and his team was really backing him up. And I think that's the real soul of CLG, is the fact that when they go for a play, if Contractz is the one looking for a dive, an invade, his team follow up on that. And that's a lot of the reason why his AD carries felt so confident. Luger felt so confident in this series.
Man, I wonder what this will... We're going to have the bracket soon after this. I wonder how this is going to affect CLG's mental going into next week, because you could definitely feel, or at least I saw the pressure they were under and the relief they had when they finally did win this best of 5. So it's, you know, the first best of 5 series they played against Cloud9, it's like, okay, we're the higher seed, but this is going to be a tough matchup. They're really amped up.
Yeah.
This series, they're more nervous about losing. Next series, I think they can clearly come in as the underdog. I don't think anyone's going to put them as a favorite against 100 Thieves or TL. So I would actually not take, like, oh, they just barely beat Golden Guardians as a slight against them, because the emotions and the expectations of each series play a big role. So I think them adopting the underdog mentality is going to help them going forward in the losers bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep going back to that thing that Chime said, where he's like, yeah, we could come in and play like how freely and completely without kind of pressure because of TSM's performance, and that netted them this win. CLG looked a lot more nervous, I thought, going into this match than they did
I don't like them as favorites.
C9.
I like them more as underdogs.
I mean, Palafox essentially confirmed as much, right? Saying that, to your point, Jet, like, this was a relief to win this series, and how ultimately he kind of preferred the hypey feeling of the C9 series, and feeling like, if anything, I've got to pull my energy back than try and generate more energy.
You know what this means?
What does it mean?
We're one day closer to a TSM CLG lower bracket.
We are one day closer. We still have a ways to go.
14 days.
Because it is important to recognize that both TSM and CLG would have to win upsets in order to get that. So
it would have to be a monumental upset for TSM to beat a Cloud9 or an EG, right? So like one of those teams. I don't think it's going to happen,
but it's a possibility.
But we're one day closer.
We're on the lookout.
So
I'll give you 100 to 1 odds.
Take it.
I mean, that's actually really good odds.
Yeah.
No. You didn't even take it.
I'm not going to take it. I'm not taking it.
Offers off the table.
Off the table. I was about to jump on that. Okay, so earlier today, we're taking a little bit of a detour here. Earlier today, we found something out about Raz.
Uh-oh.
Oh, really?
Raz, you didn't know what a plantain is.
Well, I thought I knew
Or
a
what?
plantain
Well, that's
was.
actually, you're right. You're right. That's better. It's a better way to say it. Raz
This is
thought
so
he
out of left
knew
field.
what a plantain was.
So wondering where this is going.
Raz tried to tell us
I don't
that
even
a
know if I have the
plantain
energy
is
for this.
just the peel
Of a banana.
of a
banana.
regular banana. Incorrect.
Not?
And so during the show, we had some PAs run out. Unfortunately, we could not get whole plantains, but we
Yeah.
did manage to get a hold of some plantain chips. And at the very least, we wanted to expose you to the experience of tasting your first
Plantains are
ever
great.
But how would this
plantain.
stop me from thinking that it's not just a banana peel?
How does this look like?
Have you ever eaten a plantain? Like when you're at home putting banana in your eggs, what do you do?
Also, we learned that about Raz, that he puts banana in eggs.
Yeah, what do you do with the peel? Are you just
You're pretty good.
willingly throwing away what you feel is edible food?
Yes. But I think the banana, look, banana on the eggs, do not hate until you try it. It's damn good. But
That's one of the more cursed
I'll
food
take a
takes
plantain.
I've seen.
What do you think? What do you think of the plantain?
I don't think it's good.
How does it compare to a banana peel?
It's in the same boat of not tasting good.
All right.
If you've eaten a banana peel,
Maybe there's some logic to your case then, sir. I don't know.
It helps the case for me.
Yeah, they're
Like
pretty
plantain
tasty.
chips, yeah.
They do taste a little bit like a banana, though. I mean,
Well, plantains are.
Starchier banana.
They're in the same family. They're bananas. Jesus, I'm gonna move on. Oh, that's the end of the show. That's how the show ends. Wouldn't you believe it? We're gonna eat plantains.
Oh,
Maybe
you're
make
gonna
some
eat-
eggs.
you're gonna eat
Who
plantains.
knows? But we'll be back tomorrow for more LCS, and you better be here too. So on behalf of myself, the casters, the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow for more LCS. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, be good to
Not
each
gonna
other.
make it.
Good night.
you're a food waster.
You threw chips?
Yeah, he is.
It's
Actually,
not a real
that went
tip.
further than I thought.